Very important topic, and a very important topic to me personally. Steve Moore joins us now. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
Steve is a board member, I should say, at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. You got to get more help from Springfield, right? Are we talking about money? Are we talking about other things? What specifically are we talking about?
Yeah, it's actually both. So first thing we're looking at is 988, which is the program you can call 3 digits for a mental health crisis, and you'll get a counselor on the phone that can work you through whatever the issues are. We're looking for that for really permanent funding. Right now, we're living off of money that the federal government has given us, but Illinois needs to look for the future and set up some sort of a stable system for stable funding for 988. Second thing is suicide prevention funding for the Illinois Department of Public Health that has a new position in the last 2 years that does nothing but suicide prevention. So we're asking for funding for that, continuing it. It's at the level the governor recommended, $750,000. Third thing, mental health parity. You know, when you, for example, have a medical health issue, it's much easier to get insurance coverage than for a mental health issue. If I have a heart attack, they'll pay for my ambulance. But if I have a mental health condition and someone comes and has to take me to a hospital for some sort of stabilization, that's a lot tougher to get covered. Same thing for having to go to a hospital for mental health, having to go to a psychologist. It's very hard to get coverage for insurance. And so there's a bill that tightens up a lot of the rules for what we call mental health parity. Fourth thing is there's a bill that we're looking at that wants to expand the behavioral health workforce. Doesn't do any good to have 988 funding or mental health parity if you don't have the workers out there to actually do the work. So there's a bill that will give incentive for students to become mental health workers, and also funding for behavioral health organizations that are doing nonprofit work in the behavioral health field. So those are the 4 things we're asking Springfield to look at this week.
And who's on your side? I mean, obviously we are, and most people are, but from a legislative standpoint, who's on your side?
There will be certainly the mental health organizations that are out there that are working for all these things. And then what we have are volunteers with us. We have probably 30 people coming down to Springfield. They will be meeting with the legislators to talk about all these things.
Jane, you know AFSP as I do because we've supported them regularly here, and why wouldn't we? I've said this many times. I lost 2 good friends, very good friends of mine, to suicide. Yeah. It's an absolute tragedy. You don't get over it. But it goes to the larger issue of mental health, which Steve is talking about here. You don't snap out of it. You don't just walk it off. You don't just go, oh, yeah, I do have so much to live for. Depression is as serious as cancer and heart disease and everything else. We need to treat it that way. And at AFSP, you're trying to make sure that nobody goes through being left behind by the people they love because somebody made that ultimate decision.
And, you know, the website, AFSP, if you want more information, there's some really great information on learning the facts. You know, if you want stats, if you want to learn about treatments or research, and you really do a nice job on the site there, Steve, to help people who want to know more and then who also want to help, because it's so important, like Steve said, it's about the awareness. It's about people hearing your story and what you're doing to help.
Yeah, and it's really important to tell the story. I mean, I lost my son, Paul, to suicide in 2006, and I'm very free to talk about that. Because I want people to understand that they can talk about their problems, their issues. It's so important for us to just open these things up. You're probably familiar with the walk that we have in Chicago in the fall. It's called the Out of the Darkness Community Walk.
I had the honor to MC it a couple of years ago, and it's a beautiful day.
And out of the darkness, we're trying to bring suicide and mental health out of the darkness. People need to talk about it. They need to be willing to talk to friends about it. You know, if I have a friend that I see having looks to have some problems, you got to ask, hey, dude, what's going on? You know, you're a little different today. You're not doing the stuff we expect. We need to start having people talk with each other, and people need to understand that there's no shame in seeking help. You know, whether it's professional help or just a friend, there's no shame in seeking help.
And you got to listen. That's the tough part.
You got to listen, yes. That's the other thing. AFSP's major suicide prevention program is called Talk Saves Lives. I like to think of it as listening saves lives. Listening to your friends, when they have an issue, don't try to talk them out of things. You have to just show concern, show that you understand, that they have an issue, and just show that you're there for them. Listening is so important when it comes to, with your friends and family members in terms of their mental health crisis.
And just being the person that says, I'm here.
Yeah.
What can I do to help you? Do you want me to find some resources online? Do you want me to hook you up with AFSP, Rebecca's Dream, the organization that I've worked with for years? Do you want me to hook you up with a doctor? Whatever you want me to do. You want me to drive you somewhere? But please avoid the things like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Don't talk like that. Those are the things that shut people down. And not that you mean to, but you don't want to shut them down. You want to keep them talking.
Well, and the other thing, too, if you're struggling and you're contemplating taking your own life or you're struggling just with mental health, don't be embarrassed. Ask for help. And that's what we need to all understand.
Yeah, and that's just a major goal of us, again, that's why we talk so much about mental health in addition to suicide prevention. 90% of the people that died by suicide had either a mental health condition or a substance use disorder. And so a lot of the work that FSP does is really mental, to promote mental health, just generally. And if we can do that, we can help prevent suicides.
If you believe this is as serious as we're making it sound, then do what we do. Let your elected reps know. And let your elected reps know that your vote counts on their support for organizations as important as AFSP and the fight for better mental health in general.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the things we're going to do today, actually, to bring it home, we have a table at the Rotunda where we have materials for AFSP, but we're also going to have a gong there. And every 9 minutes, we're going to strike that gong because about every 9 minutes, an adult in Illinois attempts suicide. I mean, that's how much the problem is. And that's, we want to really bring that home, and we want people in that rotunda to hear that every 9 minutes, someone in Illinois just attempted suicide.
Well, God bless the work you're doing and trying to do. God bless your son and your family. And thanks for being as brave as you are.
Yeah, thank you, Steve.
And let's talk again.
Thank you for having me.
There you go. It's, Steve Moore,
so important,
his son is gone.
I know.
And what's he doing?
Yeah.
You walk right back into the fire. He's talking about it to make sure people don't have to go through that pain.